So please introduce yourself and what you find interesting about this conference.
Hi, I'm Dave Arendash, and I work with Idea Builder. Well, I thought this is my first time at this conference, and I didn't know quite what to expect. I found it interesting that most of the talks this first day were about open social network, essentially, like Second Life, but not Second Life. There were several things on OpenSim and things like it, which is kind of what I expected to hear some of. I really like the talk from Google. They're doing some exciting things. It'd be interesting to see where that goes. It opens up a lot of possibilities for doing 3D on the web. I mean, it's almost the holy grail of things that have been talked about for 10 years now. Let's see. I think it was interesting that a lot of the talks were almost the same. It was like, we don't want to have walled gardens, but how do we fix that? And so everybody's trying to figure out how we can share worlds, share assets, etc. But everyone's taking a different approach to it, and they're all avoiding the same problems. So they'll say, okay, well, this is a tough problem, you know, scripting, tough, formats, we're not going to touch that, and so forth. But those are the big problems that need to get solved if you're going to do this for real. So what I would like to see is that people walk away from here in a collaborative mood, such that someone says, all right, I'll take a look at this section, I'll figure out the formats, and someone else will say, okay, I'll figure out the smart hour, someone else will I'll figure out the protocol, whatever, and come to a consensus. And I know that design by committee is tough, but I do hope that something comes of this, to where people, groups are going to collaborate on something, and that's the point of this whole thing, really.
Thank you, sir. And also, where do you kind of see this, where would you like to see this in the future? What would you like to see as far as more technologies that mash up? I guess kind of like, what are your dream applications to some degree, or maybe just one or two things that this convergence of different technologies that we have that they touch into here, like augmented reality and virtual worlds and mirrored worlds. What are just some like applications you would like to see?
Okay, I'll start with the obvious, because that's what they talked about today, was basically virtual worlds where you can go anywhere with your avatar, take your stuff, everything everywhere would be nice. But more importantly, I've always been a fan of the Star Trek holodeck idea, and that's augmented reality right there, along with virtual worlds. I mean, it's everything all in one. I'd like to hear more about what's going on in that. And again, sort of augmented reality in general. I really like that TED talk, where the guy had the projector that would, sort of label things as you walked around. It was very cool. So I would definitely like to see technologies along those lines. Really, I mean, if people could come up to a consensus, or at least some sort of universal translator on formats and languages, to let all these things talk together, and put the egos out of the way, put the not invented here's out of the way, and just do it. Other countries don't have this problem. Maybe I don't want to say we have too much freedom, but we have a lot of, I didn't make it, so I'm not going to use it. Let's use it. Come on, stop reinventing the wheel. If you're going to reinvent a wheel, at least look at the wheels that have been invented and just make incremental changes and bolt them to your car, and let's go.
Thank you, Dave.